I was very naive and very green to what a miscarriage meant. I didn't know. So when I'd hear other women say I'm having a miscarriage, I didn't even know how to console them, or I didn't know what to say. Do you know what I mean? Like, I was very, very green. So then she said to me, oh, because I was 17 weeks, she said, baby's formed, so we need to admit you to hospital. But she was like, because you need to give birth to the baby. So I was like, what? So first I'm computing that I'm losing the baby, then and then that I need to now need to compute that I'm gonna have to give birth to a still baby.
Hello and welcome to Not Another Money Podcast. Why is it called Not Another Money Podcast, you may be wondering? It's because this is not your typical money show. Get ready for real money conversations and lessons, expert insights from some of our very special guests, and hear some really inspiring stories from everyday people. On this podcast, you're going to learn how to earn more, how to spend less, how to grow the difference, and most importantly, live your best financial life. Hi Katie, and welcome to Not Another Money Podcast. Thank you so much for coming on the show.
My pleasure.
How are you? How was your journey down today?
Journey was good. Traffic was a little bit like New Cross. There's always traffic in it, but it was all right, you know.
Thank you so much for coming on. I really appreciate you honouring the invitation, because when I started the show, I always had in mind I wanted to have on special guests, and you were definitely one of the special guests that I wanted to have on, because it's not every day you can say that you know a superstar.
Wow.
I have a superstar as a friend.
Not
so I'm like,
superstar.
I have to get you on the pod
before
like you don't have my time at all. So I'm like, no, let me get you on now. So,
I always make time for you, girl.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you. Appreciate that. But no, thank you so much for coming on. Obviously, I know you personally, but for the audience and listeners who aren't familiar with Katie and what Katie does, tell us a little bit about who you are and what you do.
Okay, so where do we start? So my name is Katie Bonfall. I am a wife, a mother to 3 amazing boys, and a mother to 2 angel babies as well.
Yes.
So I kind of see myself as a mum of 5, really. 5 boys. Which I've had in the last 5 years, might I add. Wow. And I work full time, but I'm on maternity leave at the moment. So I work in recruitment at a university, and I also create content online. So mainly Instagram and also in TikTok as well. So I kind of just share like motherhood, lifestyle, a little bit of fashion. I need to do a bit more on fashion, but I think I'm kind of going through a transitional phase with like postpartum body and just there's a lot to unpack there, but basically and the main reason why I kind of started my page was to share my journey of loss, and also that there is life after loss. So that's kind of what I like to share online, and to keep it positive, because obviously baby loss is quite a heavy topic.
Absolutely.
And so I want to be as raw as I can, but I also want to uplift people. I don't want to just leave people like on the floor, kind of like, do you know what I mean? Because it is such a life-changing, heavy topic. So I like to kind of share my journey and share my boys, and show that there is life after loss if you hold on to hope.
And you do it so well.
Oh, thank you.
Definitely.
Thank you.
We will be plugging all your platforms and the show notes and description. So definitely go and check Katie out, because she's absolutely incredible. And I'm not just saying that because you're my friend. I'm saying it because you're absolutely amazing and you are very inspiring. And we are going to delve a little bit more into your story, which you've briefly touched upon. But before we go deep, we're going to start it off with a little bit of an icebreaker.
Nice.
And we're going to play a game called Would You Rather. It's the money edition, obviously, because this is not another money podcast. So we do kind of keep the money theme running through the content that we do over here. Would you rather have £1,000 a day for the rest of your life? So just £1,000 dropped into your bank account or in cash, however you like it. Or have £1 million in the bank today?
Interesting. I think I would have to get my calculator out and work out how much £1,000 a day would be. Like, as in for the rest of my life?
Yes.
Yeah, I think maybe A, because I'm assuming that would eventually accrue up to more than $1 million, I hope. And also I'll be working on the side as well, so I'll be earning more.
True.
Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So let's go with A.
Yeah, go with A. Final answer?
Yeah.
Well, you can't change it anyway, so
okay.
That's it.
And by God's grace, I'm going to live to like over 100.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean?
So you'll make the $1 million and more. Okay. Would you rather have £1,000 cash or flip a coin to see if you could win 5,000?
Ooh. I guess flip a coin.
Flip a coin?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would flip it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because hopefully you would get the 5,000, and if not, it's the 1,000. I'm sure
Exactly.
you can make that
Still
up.
1,000. Right. Exactly.
I can make
1,000 you can get easily. Oh,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
can get that one brand deal. Do you know what I mean? Or less,
Girl.
innit? I don't get out
Girl.
of bed for less than 1,000.
Girl. So yeah, no, definitely.
Okay, yeah, no, that's good. And spend £200.
Mm-hmm.
Would you rather, spend £200 on someone's Christmas present and they only spend £20 on you?
Okay.
Or spend £20 on someone's Christmas present and they spend £200 on you? So would you rather be the better or worse gift giver?
Oh. I think probably A. So I would spend £20.
Yeah.
And
No, you'd spend £200.
Oh yeah, I would spend £200 on
and
that
they
person.
spend 20.
Yeah. So I would do that. So I would spoil.
Oh.
Yeah, I would. Yeah.
Oh, you're lovely.
Yeah.
Do you really mean that, or you just say
no,
that?
I do. Yeah. I mean, I guess mainly, I think it'd probably just be my mum.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
You know,
fair enough.
that, like I've just got my mum in my head because
Okay,
she does
fine.
so
When you
much
put
for
it like
us.
that, then fine. I'll go with A2.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? So that she was the first person that came to my mind.
Yeah.
Obviously my husband, but yeah, like we're like one in it. So.
Yeah, exactly. No, I was thinking
You know?
more friendship wise. That's why I was thinking. No, I'm not gonna be shortchanged.
But then I wouldn't mind like if it was a friend as well.
Yeah.
Just let them be happy. Like let them like make their day.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. So.
God's got to do some more work
Yeah.
on me because I'm like, nah,
Joker.
I want the expensive gift. Thank you very much.
Well, maybe next time around, then they, do you know what I mean? The
Yeah,
next
it's
year,
true.
then
They
it will
can
come back
level up.
around,
That's
right?
True. Okay, fine.
Yeah.
I'll go with A2 then.
Yeah.
I'll be the nice one.
Cool.
Okay, cool. And then, would you rather lose £100
Mm-hmm.
or have to work an extra hour for no pay?
I guess the extra hour with no pay because I'm sure that's less, isn't it? Oh, actually, I don't. Yeah.
You see, I'd rather lose £100.
Okay.
I just don't want to work. I'm like,
Yeah. Do you know what? True.
I'm like, no.
True. But I just feel like an hour is not that bad. Like,
Yeah, it's true.
I just like type some emails.
Yes, it's true. Yeah, it's true. It's true. It's true. Have a coffee.
God. Exactly.
Like,
yeah. Coffee break.
Coffee
yeah.
break. It's true. Okay, fine. The last one then.
Mm-hmm.
Would you rather lose the ability to sing for
Ooh.
£20,000
Girl.
or keep your amazing voice but never get paid for singing? And I put this one in there because that some of the listeners may not know that Katie has the most incredible voice.
Oh,
and can sing so beautifully.
Oh man, no, I'd want to be able to sing, man.
Yeah. I thought you'd go with that.
Yeah.
Your voice is priceless.
Oh, thank you. And do you know, it's funny because I don't see myself like that way. Like I love singing. Like obviously I'm in praise and worship, so I love singing for God. But then when I sing on my own, like I get so nervous. Like it's really bad, but I get so nervous.
I was going to ask you to sing for us as well.
Oh, okay. Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that.
Oh, but
I want to keep my voice.
You'd keep your voice,
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah.
I was hoping.
So I love harmonizing on songs. No. There's no way I could lose my singing voice or ability to just
sing to the babies.
No. I need to keep my voice.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, absolutely.
Yeah.
I would go with that too if I had your voice. I mean,
thank
my voice,
you.
I'll give it away for free because it's so
Joker.
bad. But yours is absolutely incredible. So no, I was hoping you'd say that because
100.
it's absolutely beautiful.
Thank
you for playing.
Oh, that was cool. That was fun.
That's good. Yeah,
I like that.
Cool. So then, before we dive into the meat of the conversation, the other thing that we do on this show is I like to ask my guests to share a money moment. So, Not Another Money podcast, and we have this segment called Not Another Money Moment. So, where you share a money moment from your childhood or adulthood that's had a significant impact on your life in one way or another.
Oh, interesting. I mean, I think, kind of two things come to mind. I think maybe just like my first job. Okay. Working at, what was it? M&S, yeah. I worked at M&S in the lingerie department when I was 16. Right. Yeah, girl. Nice. In Ealing Broadway.
Oh, wow. Nice one.
Yeah, I know. Travelling, like, I did 6 to 10 p.m. So, yeah, my mum had to pick me up from the station. Can you imagine? I know, bless her. So, but yeah, so I think just getting my first paycheck was just like, oh my gosh, this is my money that I've worked for, you know? So that was incredible. And I think the second moment that comes to mind is when I got my first campaign. Oh, come on. Working on, like, obviously through social media.
Yeah. Tell us about that. Yeah.
Okay. So, yeah, because obviously I didn't really, me and social media, I thought it was more like a fun, like just doing it for fun. I wasn't trying to do it to get brand deals do you know what I mean? Or be like, I don't know, like famous, or I don't know, just be like an influencer. And I was just having a bit of fun on the gram, trying to get myself through my pregnancies and also to share my story. So yeah, so when I got to 10K followers, I believe Wilco reached out to me, and I was like, oh my gosh, I didn't even know what to do. So I called one of my besties, Joyce. Shout out to you, Joyce Adewale. She's like my sister. Honestly, she's amazing. She called me, and she was just like giving me so much encouragement, some tips. She even sent me her fees, that her rates, like a rate card. So I was like, wow. And so yeah, I was able to. That's okay. So yeah, I was able to, I guess, obviously put my rates out there, and then they honoured my fees, and I was like, oh, wow. Okay, I can earn this much, yeah. Okay. So that was a huge moment. I think it's grown over the last like 3 years. And yeah, I'm obviously in a good position of where I am now. So yeah, that was also a huge moment.
And that's amazing, because like you said, something that you had just been doing for fun, for free, just to help others. All of a sudden now someone wants to pay you for what you're doing. So I can imagine that having a big impact. Oh wow, I didn't realize that I could serve and make money at the same time.
100. And then my husband was like, oh, okay. Then he started sending me reels. Girl. He'd be like, yeah, babes, we need to do this reel.
Oh, really? Oh, he's involved like that now. Oh, amazing.
So, because he's a teacher, he didn't want me doing, he actually called me I think I was on like 5,000, 6,000 followers at the time. But his students, obviously students are nosy, innit? His students went to my profile.
They found you.
And they found me. And so during class, whilst he was teaching, they were on my page.
No.
Yeah, so then he called me. He was like, babes, yeah, can you make your page private? And I was like, no.
Oh, you said no.
Yeah, because I was like, they could learn a thing or two, actually.
Oh,
because
come on.
What I'm talking about,
You're not talking about anything bad,
I'm encouraging the people, so they can learn a thing or two. Yeah.
Oh, you see, sometimes it's good not to listen to your husband.
But like, Lord Jesus, obviously we know we need to submit, but
yeah.
that one I was just like, yeah, God told me to start this, so
you felt strong in that conviction. Oh, I love that.
And then and so obviously when I first got my first brand deal, then he was like, wow, babes, like let's keep it going. So
see? There's a lesson there.
There is a lesson.
We know.
Yes, the women, that intuition, that female.
It's real. We know. So you've got to trust it. No, that's amazing. Right? And I'm so happy that he's on board now. It makes it so much easier when you're on the same page when it comes to what you're trying to pursue.
I mean, I get it, because obviously it's not for everyone. My husband's very private, and I respect that. I love that. I mean, to be fair, I'm private. I don't want to share everything on social media, and I don't think you should have to. So there is things that you should keep to yourself as well. So this is just having that boundaries, setting boundaries, and knowing when you don't step over that boundary.
Yeah. And how do you do that?
So I think first of all, I'm a Christian, so I'm not going to do something that goes against my faith. So obviously, certain music I wouldn't choose. And then just not showing showing enough of the boys, but not too much. And obviously, like if they don't want to be in my video, then I'm like, okay, that's fine. I'll just do it on my own. Yeah, it's not by force.
Oh,
if they
don't pinch their leg, be like, come on, smile.
Girls, I mean, it has happened sometimes.
Sometimes you have to get
you have to yeah, exactly. But we just take a break. Like there's ways to do it, rather than just like smile. Do you know what I mean? Like there's ways to actually do it. So if we need to take a break, or if they just don't want to do it, then it's like, it's fine, or maybe we'll try again another day. Do you know what I mean? Like there's ways around it. And then I think just respect. Like sometimes my mum doesn't want to be on, like she doesn't want to be on my stories. I'm like, okay, mum, do you know what I mean? Just having a bit of like, just setting boundaries.
I do, but for the listeners, I think sometimes I like to ask the question that I think somebody's wanting to ask as they're listening along, because I'm like, sometimes when I listen to podcasts, I'm like,
they should have probed more. It's true. And I think, do you know what, it has to, like, as long as it doesn't go with my convictions, like you yourself know when it's like not, if it doesn't sit right with your spirit, then it's like, don't do it.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean?
I believe that too.
Because even the certain campaigns I've said no, because I'm like, it's just not me. Yeah. So I'll respectfully say no.
Oh wow, well done.
So I'm not going to just do it for the sake of it. Yeah. And that way I feel like I keep my authenticity.
Yeah, and integrity as well. Yeah. That's important. And I think people trust you because of that, because they know you're not just trying to grab a quick buck and sell them anything just to make commission. It's like, actually, if Katie's telling me about this product or service, then I'm going to listen to her, because she doesn't just spam my timeline with ads every other day. And yeah, people do notice that as well.
Yeah, because I think there was like I got an email from like I think it was a weight loss company, and there was some sort of pills or something they want me to promote. So I'm just like, no, it's okay.
And don't be rude.
I know for real.
Sending me weight loss pills.
I know. But yeah, I was just like, it's okay.
Yeah.
Okay, bye.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. Oh no, good. No, that's
you know
and
what
it's
I mean?
good.
So
And those kind of things help in your platform getting to the stage it's got to, because you're building it based on integrity, based on your values, and you're not compromising your values, so that now when you get to these top heights that you're getting to, it's not like you had to sell out or sell your soul to get there. So
exactly.
I think that's amazing.
Thank you.
No, it's amazing.
You.
But we've kind of gone all the way to the end of the
Oh,
conversation.
is it?
Not the end of conversation, but
Okay.
we've gone on to other topics which I did want to eventually explore in today's episode. But I do want to take us back a little bit to kind of the main theme, or a big part of the reason why I wanted to have this conversation with you is to hear a little bit more about your backstory, because so a lot of people know you online now and might just see, you know, she's this big influencer living her best life, going to all of these amazing events, has the most beautiful picture perfect family, and they don't necessarily know the story behind it and know what the journey has been like for you to get where you are. And I think a lot of times people see things and it's like, I wish I was there, and I wish I had this, and I wish I was there, but not appreciating what it's taken for you to get to where you are.
About how obviously
so
people
that's
look
what
at,
I really wanted us to kind of explore in this
they,
story.
you know,
So
they
just
look at other people
as much as you're comfortable
like, oh, I wish I had
with
that,
sharing,
I wish I had that family.
if we could go back a little bit in
so
terms
like
of your
story
and
they
what
don't know my story,
actually
like,
led you down a path to start sharing. As you
but
do
yeah,
online.
like honestly, the word that came to me when you was saying that part of the question was literally a lot of tears. That is what has paved the road to get to where I am now. A lot of tears and prayers, because honestly, I wouldn't wish what I went through on anyone, because I just feel like I went to the bottom of the pit. And so when I see where I am now, I'm just like, that can only be God. Like, literally. Oh, wow. Okay, so I felt a little bit of, I just felt quite emotional a little bit there. But anyway, let's keep going. So yeah, honestly, it's been a journey. Obviously, where are we now? We're 2024.
Yeah.
And like I said, I've got 3 beautiful boys, which I'm so grateful for. But I lost 2 boys. So my first son that I lost was in 2017. And the second son that I lost was in 2018. So, so up to that point, me and my husband had been married for like 5 years. And then we were like, you know, I feel like we're ready to start trying for a baby. And like, I got pregnant straight away, literally. So it was just like, oh my gosh, everything's going well. Then when I had my 3-month scan, and on the first baby, so we named him Jorim. So when we saw Jorim on the scan, the machine, the most hyper baby. Oh, he was literally like doing somersaults. You could literally see him doing somersaults. He was, I don't know, just like, it's like he was jumping.
Yeah.
And I remember, like, my mum was with me as well. So mum was holding my hand and Richard was there. And we were just like, wow, like everything was so new. Do you know what I mean? Like, we were just so happy. And then literally, so that was when I was 12 weeks, I had that scan. Then 5 weeks later, so when I got to 17 weeks, so I was at home, I was getting ready for work, and I just started having stomach cramps. And so prior to that, I had a few spotting, and I went to the early pregnancy unit to get checked, and they said it's fine, it's normal. But this one just felt different. So Richard was like, babe, let's just go to hospital, let's just get it checked. And by that point, I was so sick and tired of going to the EPU, because you're just sitting there with bare pregnant women, and then you're there for hours trying to like waiting to be seen, and then they tell you everything's fine. So I just thought, oh, you know, it's long. But anyway, when we got in the Uber to get to St Thomas Hospital, and on the way to the hospital, yeah, just like the pains was getting worse, and I was just like, what is this? And obviously, because it's my first pregnancy, I didn't know what to expect. So then, when we got to the hospital, I had to do a urine sample, and I noticed some blood in the sample. So I was like, okay, that doesn't look good. So then obviously I gave it back to them. I sat down. As soon as the nurse called me so I went into her cubicle. As soon as I was about to sit down, I literally just felt a gush of blood. Like, and I was wearing jeans. and it just soaked through the jeans. It went all over the floor, and I was just paralyzed. I was just like, what is going on? So then the nurse just rushed me to the next cubicle, laid me on the bed, and she said that we have to get a consultant. And then, so in that moment, I was just laying on the bed and I was just praying. I was just like, God, please let everything be okay. Because I don't know if you remember, no, yeah, anyway, around that time, there was a sister that used to come to our church, and a similar thing had happened to her at the nail salon. So she was at the nail salon and she was pregnant and she just started bleeding, like loads of blood. But when she went to the hospital, the baby was fine. So I was like, that's going to be my testimony. And literally, she told me that the week before. So I was like, yeah, that's going to be my testimony. Like, baby's fine. And then I remember that. So when I was praying on the bed, Richard said he saw a bright light come through the window.
Oh my gosh, I'm getting goosebumps.
So yeah, he said he saw a bright light coming through the window. And he said he heard God's voice saying, this is a test. Yeah, but he only told me that like months later. So I'm sitting there, lying there. Then the consultant comes. And then they say, Mrs. Bonfort, I'm really, really sorry, but you've lost the baby. And yeah, cause she was like, we can see the membranes. And yeah, basically your waters have broken. No, sorry, my waters hadn't broken, sorry, but they could see basically parts that they shouldn't be seeing, basically. And then so I was like, okay, so she said that you're having a miscarriage. So my view of a miscarriage was, I just thought you had some bleeding. Yeah. And I guess I could go home, and I don't know. Like I was very naive and very green to what a miscarriage meant. I didn't know. So when I'd hear other women say I'm having a miscarriage, I didn't even know how to console them, or I didn't know what to say. Do you know what I mean? Like, I was very, very green. So then she said to me, oh, because I was 17 weeks, she said, baby's formed, so we need to admit you to hospital. But she was like, and then she was like, because you need to give birth to the baby. So I was like, what? So first I'm computing that I'm losing the baby, then I need to compute that I'm gonna have to give birth to a still baby. So then I was thinking, so is this not a stillbirth? Like what do you know what I mean? Like is this surely is not a miscarriage? So anyway, so then they took me to the cubicle. So I think they admitted me to the 7th floor in St Thomas Hospital, and my waters broke on its own after being in there for an hour. So then they said, okay, let's just see whether you're going to labour, like have contractions. And then so they kept me in overnight. So prior to that, though, one of the consultants came and was like, oh, has anyone scanned the baby? Because maybe baby is actually still alive. So I was like, no one scanned me. So then they took me to get scanned, and that literally broke me, because you just saw my baby in my womb, so lifeless. And from what I described, how he was jumping, and that finished me, and I just was crying. Like, yeah, it was a lot.
I can't believe they showed you that.
Yeah, because I think they just wanted to see whether baby was still alive.
But then they usually like have the screen.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, to be fair, I mean, I'm glad I did see it. Do you know, because I don't have much memories with Jorim. Do you know what I mean? So in a way, I am glad that I did see it, even though it was so hard. So I was a mess. I was just wailing and just do you know what I mean? In the corridor of the ward or whatever. So then I went back to my room, and then so I think the next day they said, okay, because baby's been in there for quite a long time, you could catch an infection. So we need to give you, basically they need to induce me. So they need to induce me into labour. So they gave me some sort of pessary. And then, the contractions started after about half an hour. And I was like, mate, the pain was intense. I remember I was screaming like while I was in labour. And I remember saying to Richard, I can't do this. And he was like, babes, you can. You're doing it. You can. And then, like after, maybe, I don't know, I can't remember how long I was in labour for, but maybe like 40 minutes, 45 minutes. Then I remember feeling baby come out, and then the placenta came out. And it was just so weird, because obviously when you watch, when you watch films of women giving birth and stuff, or you watch One Born Every Minute, when the woman gives birth, you hear the baby crying after labour. So when I gave birth, my baby wasn't crying, but I was crying. So it was very strange. It was very, very strange. So, so I remember they took baby away to clean him up. Obviously, at that point, we didn't know he was a he. And then I just felt so empty. I was like, I've come to the hospital pregnant, and now I've left. I'm just here, like empty. I just honestly, I was just like, I just felt like my world had ended right there and then. And I remember the nurses came to me and was like, "Oh, do you want to see baby?" Then I froze. I didn't know what to say, so I didn't say nothing. Richard said, "Yes, we do." And then they brought him out in a little basket. They clothed him, put a hat on him, and I was just like, "Wow, he's so handsome." So yeah, we checked his genitals, and we were like, "Yeah, he's definitely a boy." So Richard was like, "Yeah, that's my son." So it was so surreal. It was like spending time with him. So yeah, I think they let us hold him for like, I don't know, maybe like an hour or two, because they had to preserve him in the fridge. So yeah, that was very surreal. So I remember just like I sang to him, I sang a lullaby to him, and just like I remember like holding him close to my face because I wanted to smell him and just do you know, I wanted to take him in because I'm just like, I don't know how long I've got, which obviously is not long. And then he's gonna be gone, isn't it? So like I just wanted to like take in every moment. So yeah, that was a lot. So then after a few months, so you see, yeah, I'll say this as well. Like when we got in the lift to go home, I remember the lift doors opening, and all I was seeing was pregnant women. And women, to really see a lady with her newborn actually came into the lift, and I was like, wow, yeah. I just felt like it was just very heightened for me. Like all I could see was
that's what you're gonna
babies.
spot now.
Yeah, all I could see was babies, pregnant women, women with like their newborns, and I was just like, yeah, this is a lot. Like, this is a lot.
Oh, I can't even imagine.
Yeah. So, and I think I even said, "Oh, congratulations."
Did you?
Yeah, and then I just left the lift with Richard and my mum. Like, then we went home, and I just remember do you know what what I do remember actually is the next day. So when I went home, I think yeah, obviously my sister had come down, so she was there, and like my niece, she even drew a little picture for me. So
Such a
I know
sweetheart.
with like baby as well,
Yeah.
like it's like we said, it was a picture of me and baby. But yeah, like it was just really it was a really sad time. So I remember going to bed, but then when I woke up the next day, for a split second, it felt like a dream. So it felt like I was actually still pregnant. And then when I tried to get up, my stomach was in
Oh my
bits. The
gosh.
pain because the contractions,
Contracting.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I felt like I'd been doing like sit ups for I don't know, like a whole hour or two. Like so the pain, and I couldn't even get out of bed. Like I don't know, I just didn't feel okay. And then it hit
The
me that,
reality.
but I lost the baby. That's why you're in pain, and you've gone through a lot. So yeah, just trying to grieve, like just trying to grieve. I didn't know how to grieve properly. So I remember I took like 3 months off work, and I didn't even have contact with them, to be honest, because I felt so lost. So I remember like walking around Surrey Quays. I was living with my mum at the time. Like I remember walking around the river, and I would just put my earphones on, just listening to like just music, and I just felt so lost. I remember that was around the time when we had to start paying for bags, 5p back the bags, and I took a bag without paying, and I was trying to walk off, and then the lady was like, "Oh, excuse me, you didn't pay for the bag," and so I was like, I was not
there.
myself, I wasn't there, so I was like, "Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to do that," so I had to go back and pay, but like I just was not myself. I didn't know. Yeah, like it was just really weird. And obviously, because I was 17 weeks, I think I was just about to tell people that I was pregnant. So people didn't really know, the people didn't know that I was pregnant. So at work, the only person that knew I was pregnant was my manager and like my close friends. So it was just like, I just felt so embarrassed and ashamed, to be honest.
Why embarrassed and ashamed?
So like, I just felt less than a woman. Honestly, like, so when I look back at it now, obviously, I just feel like I shouldn't have feeling that way, but that's what for me, that's how I felt. I felt like my body didn't work properly. I just felt less than a woman. I was like, my other friends are getting pregnant. So I remember at the time, there were so many other women that were pregnant with me. And so, yeah, like I just was like, how comes all my besties are getting pregnant, having their babies, but for me, like I've lost this baby. So I just was like, I was thinking, is there something wrong with me? Do you know what I mean? So, yeah, so I was navigating through all of that. And then when I went to work I went to see the occupational therapist.
Yeah.
She suggested therapy for me. So I did some therapy sessions through my workplace because it was free. funded by them. So I did 6 sessions, and that really, really helped just to process the trauma that I'd gone through, because I didn't realize how traumatic it actually was. And I guess I was internalizing it because I wasn't really speaking about it. Or to be fair, I was speaking about it, but maybe at the time I didn't feel like people wanted to listen to me. So
it's a difficult one for people to know how to deal with you and how to treat you.
Do you know what I mean? So I remember Tatenda, who you had on the podcast recently, she came to the house. I remember, I think maybe like 3 days. Actually, no, she came to the hospital. She came anyway. Yeah, so she came to the hospital, but yeah, and she also came to visit me at home. And I remember she just sat with me in silence for like an hour or two. She let me cry. I think we prayed. Well, I didn't pray. She prayed for me because I just didn't have no words. Have the words. So honestly, that showed me what a good friend she is, and just it taught me how that I didn't know that's what I needed. It wasn't like, oh, okay, he's gonna be fine, because it's not gonna be fine. Yeah. I've lost my son. Like, do you know what I mean? What can you say? But just being there, and then I think she'd ask me like, well, how can I support you? She cooked for me. Do you know what I mean? It's just it's being there for someone that's gone through such a loss. Yeah. That's what that taught me. So then I thought to myself, wow, I need to remember this and then hopefully pay it forward, which I have tried to do in my own way. But yeah, so that was like, so I didn't even say, so I lost Joram on the 9th of March 2017. And so I think I eventually went back to work 3 months later. So let's say like, I don't know, July time. And then anyway, so then towards the end of that year, I felt ready to try again. So we tried again, got pregnant first time again. And again, everything was going well. Had my first scan. Baby looked perfect, but I cried the whole scan because I was just like, that's what they said the last time. Yeah, the flashbacks. Oh, gosh. And then again, when I got to 17 weeks, so I was actually 17 weeks and 5 days. And but this time around, I was going to the specialist clinic in St. Thomas Hospital, run by Professor Shannon and his incredible team. So they were seeing me actually. And sorry if I rewind, because Professor Shannon did the autopsy on baby, and he said baby was absolutely fine. And he said I caught an infection, basically, which meant that my body had to shut down the pregnancy. But so he just said, like, you know, he's seen loads of women like me, and if I'm willing to try again, he's happy and he's confident that I will have another baby, basically. So I was seeing their team, so they would give me extra scans just to make sure that everything was fine. So when I was 17 weeks on the dot, I saw them, and my cervix was nice and closed. It was shut. But then when I got to 17 weeks and 5 days, again, something happened. So I remember I woke up and I just felt something. I felt something quite weird. It felt like I needed to wee. Yeah. And then obviously, because I'd not gone that far in the pregnancy, I just thought that maybe baby's is getting bigger.
You just went into labour.
So
sorry, I'm getting ahead of the story.
That's okay. Gosh. Yeah. So I remember I went to work. So this was like 6 a.m. I was getting ready for work. I travelled all the way to like East London for work from Kent. And I felt this feeling, but I just thought, because I didn't have pain. Yeah. I didn't have pain like the last time, so I just thought it's fine. And obviously they've just seen me at the hospital, so it's like, do you know what I mean? So I didn't want to be paranoid, and I wanted to enjoy my pregnancy. Yes. So anyway, so then I think got to like 2:00, and I called my mum, and she said maybe go to the hospital, and I was thinking, really, like so I finished work, and these times Richard was picking me up from work, because he didn't want me doing too much walking and stuff like that. And then I called my midwife, and she said, I told her how I was feeling. She said, yeah, I think you should come in, just get checked. Yeah, just to see what your cervix is doing. She said cervix. And I said, oh, okay. As soon as I got... go on.
To pause you. Had they said anything about your cervix the first time?
So no, because that's the thing. I thought I had an incompetent cervix. That's what I wasn't sure if I had. But the professor said that I don't have an incompetent cervix, but I caught an infection, which can disrupt the pregnancy.
Why did you think you had an incompetent cervix? Because
I just did research. Oh, okay. So basically women that lose babies, like especially like in the second trimester or like later on, there could be an issue with incompetent cervix, which is a condition in pregnancy. Yeah. So I wasn't sure if I had that.
Okay. But then he said that no, it was just an infection.
Exactly.
Okay, fine.
Exactly. So so as soon as I got to hospital, and I was actually in a good spirit. Like I was just praying. I was just like, God, I believe you. You know, we're doing this time. But when I got to hospital, I did the urine sample. I saw blood in the urine sample. I said, yay. I said, not again. That's all I kept saying, not again. and this was like 6:30 p.m. And so I think that most of the women had gone. Like I think they were even shutting down. But because my situation seemed quite like, it was an emergency basically, they rushed me to the room, and then they had to use some laptop because they didn't even have their systems. Like they had to use her laptop, and she put the jelly on my stomach, and then she said, "Okay, Katie, so your baby's alive," but she said, "But that feeling that you've been having is your cervix has opened." And then she even showed me on the screen. So my cervix was like this, and the fluid around baby was starting to come out.
Okay.
And that's what I was feeling. Yeah. Can you imagine? But then you could see my baby was still alive at that point, and he was just like swimming basically. So they said, so what we need now is that we'll try and do an emergency stitch of your cervix, but the bleeding has to stop. Because if the bleeding doesn't stop, then we're not able to, save baby. So she said, we're going to rush you to we'll admit you, put you in the ward, and hopefully the bleeding will stop. We went to the next room, and then by the time my mum had come from work, Richard was obviously with me, and we would just pray. They literally laid hands on me, but it felt like the more they prayed, the more blood started coming, and the more pain I felt. And they said, you're going to have another miscarriage, basically. And then I remember I screamed. I said, no. I said, I can't do this again. I can't do this again. Yeah, it just felt like deja vu. And why I mentioned the date 9th of March 2017 is because that day that I went into labour was the 9th of March 2018. So it was exactly a year when I lost the first baby. To the date. I was in the same hospital room as the year before as well. Yeah. I didn't even realise. My mum, she's the one who noticed. She said to the nurses, she was like, this is the room we was in last year. Like, she's like, is there no other beds? She said, there's no other beds, unfortunately. She has to stay here. Then the same nurses, there was a nurse that I remember from the last year. So she said, she was like, why are you here again? And then I remember Richard said he went out to get, he went out to get something. And he said he saw some of the nurses crying that had remembered me from the year before. And do you know what I mean? So and then he told me, and I was just like, wow, like, yeah, I was just like, what is going on?
It's literally like something out of a movie.
Yeah, sis. So I remember, so as I said, that the more they prayed, the more basically blood came and the more pain came. And then I remember my waters broke, and then baby basically came. I gave birth to baby, and then my placenta came out, and then the pain stopped. So I think I was in labour more or less the whole night. So when I said that I can't do this again, when I said I was screaming, like when I look back on that time, I just know it was God's grace. Obviously, I know that I was losing another baby, but why I know that it's God is because the first time I lost, the fact that the second time round now, they had to give me my body went into labour by itself. They had to induce me, and the contractions wasn't as painful as when they induced me. And so I was that's why I was scared of that pain as well, as well as losing the baby, obviously. So as I said, baby came out. I just felt like then I remember they brought baby to end me because it was just I don't know. I just looked my body was in shock. And I was just like, and again, he was in a basket clothed, and I was just like, wow, like I was in shock. It just felt like deja vu, honestly. Deja vu. 17 weeks, both times. The 9th of March, both times. Same hospital room, both times. Same staff. And another baby boy as well. So I was just like, wow. And I remember saying to Richard and my mum, I said, I'd rather go for adoption than do this again. And they were like, no. Like, the devil's a liar. Like, just... like, we'll keep trying. But I just said, I can't do this again. Like, I just felt so empty and I just felt numb. That was the word that I felt, so numb. And, just navigating through that was just a lot. And then I remember the bereavement nurse came to me, and she was just so encouraging. And she told me about again, like, obviously this is what the bereavement nurse the year before told me about work, just taking time out for myself. And and I just knew I needed therapy again. So I remember when I got home, I looked up to get the therapy through my work. So I got that maybe like a week after losing the second baby. Wow. Yeah. And I think I only had like 2 weeks off work as well.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, well, also because of, the sick pay. Okay. So I wasn't going to get paid as well because the year before I'd taken 3 months off. Okay. And I'd only been at work for a year, so I didn't qualify for the... So I think even if you've been at where I work, if you have been there for 3 years, then you get 6 months paid sick. But
you hadn't hit that threshold.
Yeah, so I maxed out my 3 months basically.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I did feel strong enough to go to work.
Okay.
And I had a bit of like, I don't know, for some reason I just had a bit more grit.
Why do you think?
I think the therapy helped, but also I did have to be fair, I had the 2 weeks that I was off at home, I cried every day. I cried every single day. I remember I'll go to the kitchen, my mum will be there, and I'd literally just burst into tears into her, onto her shoulder. And then she just encouraged me, you know. Obviously, Richard was encouraging me. My friends that was around me, my church family was encouraging me. You know, I remember my church family, they brought one of the sisters cooked as well. So I don't know, I just felt so much strength. And I remember I went to church as well, and one of the pastors that I guess they didn't know what I was going through. They told me a word about how, like, basically what I've gone through is not is not for nothing, and that basically, like, what the devil meant for bad, God meant for good, and that basically the whole world will hear my testimony and know that it was God that blessed me and not man. So when I was so I was like, wow, okay, I'm getting all these words, like, yeah, no, like I'd get the words from other sisters, like Des, like Desiree gave me a word, and yeah, like there was just so many different parts that was just strengthening me.
Yeah.
So I don't know, it just felt different. And also, oh gosh, I haven't even said this part. When so we named the second baby Shiloh. So this is quite an important part of the story. We named the second baby Shiloh. So when I was like half drugged up from gas and air, Richard was like, "Oh, babes, we need to name the baby. We need to name the baby." So I was like, literally, I was, as I said, I was half drugged. Like, I was gone on the gas and air, yeah. But I felt in my spirit to name baby Shiloh. It was like a still small voice that whispered Shiloh.
Yeah, yeah.
You know. So I said, "Babe, what do you think of Shiloh?" Then he was like, "Robert." It was like, "That's a sick name. Why were you hiding that name?" And I was like, "I don't know." I said, "I think God just gave it to me." So then Richard's mum, she sent me a message, and she's just encouraging me, and then she sent me scriptures, like of scriptures to read when I get a chance. So when we got home, we got discharged from the hospital. I remember reading Samuel, so the story of Hannah and how she prayed for a son. And then it said that Hannah went to Shiloh to pray. When I saw that, I said, "Rich, look. I said, God is with us." Wow. It said Shiloh maybe like 6 or 7 times in that first verse.
Oh my gosh, this is too much.
It went to Shiloh to pray. It went to Shiloh for offering of Shiloh. Like, it just said Shiloh, Shiloh. So I was like, that's not a coincidence.
Of course not.
That is not.
You can't make that up.
You can't make that up. I said Shiloh. It was not even on my radar. And the fact that I'm reading this scripture, and it's saying she went to, and it's about a woman who desperately wants a son. So that night, so that was the first night we got back from the hospital, actually, after losing baby. That night, I got on my knees and I asked God to bless me with a son. I said, I don't want just a baby. I said, I keep losing boys. I said, that's not my portion. I said, this time next year, I will be either heavily pregnant. So this was March, 2018. I said, I'll be either heavily pregnant or about to give birth, or I've just had baby. Like, I said, and I was because I just thought, let me pray a bodacious prayer. Let me just make my request known to God. You know, let me test God at his words. Do you know what I mean? So I was like, with the little words and energy that I had, even though, because I was obviously I was not myself, but I was like, I cried out to God with my whole self. And then I remember Richard was also praying, like he was praying in tongues, like just fire prayers, pacing up and down. And I remember he went to each room in our house and started just laying hands on the walls of our house, because we bought a 4-bedroom house in 2017. So I was pregnant with Joram at the time when we went for that house. Yeah. And then when we lost Joram, so basically, when I was in the hospital, I'd just given birth to Joram, the first baby. That's when the solicitors were calling Richard, were saying, the sale of the house has gone through. So it was just such a weird time. And I remember, so then even when we moved into the house, our neighbours was like, "Oh, where's all your kids?" And I was like, I didn't know what to say, because obviously I just lost baby. And then Richard was like, "Don't worry, it's all part of the plan." So we bought a 4-bedroom house, obviously knowing that we're going to start a family, isn't it? So we didn't see the point in moving into a small place and then having to like buy a bigger place because we've got more kids. Do you know what I mean? So that was Richard's plan, by the way, which I definitely think is amazing.
Yeah.
So, but obviously, I know everyone's circumstances is different. If you can't do that, then obviously there's no pressure. But so yeah, like just to obviously give a bit of context. So yeah, so when we saw that, and obviously, like I said, Richard was praying and laying hands on the walls, and obviously the whole Shiloh thing, and the words I was getting, I just knew that this was a spiritual attack.
Yes.
And it was something to try to take me out of God's plan and take me off of my out of my faith with God. And obviously this is the biggest thing that's tested me in my whole walk with God. I got saved at 16. I'm 36 now. So that moment really showed me that God is good. Even the fact that I didn't even have a baby at the point, but I just knew that God was real. In that moment I was like, okay, God, okay, the devil says, okay, the devil's trying it, okay, let's go to war. You know, so it kind of, yeah. And I remember Richard's friend out in Ghana was just like, yeah, the story of Job kept coming to him as well. You know, so but anyway, yeah. So then anyway, let's fast forward because the story is a bit long. But fast forward, April 2019. So more or less a year to when I lost the second baby, I had my son Maximus. So when I say that God is just so good. So when we found out we were having a boy, when we did the gender reveal, I was like, wow, look at God. Look at God. Wow. And so the third time around, I had a stitch to keep my cervix closed. And then I had weekly scans. When I got to 17 weeks, everything was fine. 18 weeks, my cervix started dropping even with the stitch in. Wow. And then the doctors were like, okay, you need to go on bed rest.
From 18 weeks?
From 18 weeks. So that honestly, Maximus's pregnancy was so scary. I cried every single day. I felt like broken glass. I felt like if I cough, the baby's gonna fly out. If I stand on my feet too long, baby's gonna come out. Honestly, I was terrified to use the bathroom, thinking, am I gonna see red every time I use the bathroom? So like just everything everything was triggering, and the flashbacks were insane. Even I remember there was one time I had a nightmare that I was losing the baby, and it felt so real. I was literally sleeping and I could literally feel me giving birth. And then I came out of the dream, then I saw a text on my phone. Literally, as soon as I finished the dream and woke up, then I heard ping on my phone, and it was one of my friends on social media. Her name's Karen. Shout out to you, Karen. She said that, and it was maybe 5:30 in the morning. She said that she felt the devil was messing with me. And so she said she's just praying. She didn't want me to know that she's praying for me and that I'm covered in the blood of Jesus and that no weapon formed against me shall prosper. So I was like, look at that. So the way people were honestly, God really showed himself so strong. Wow. Honestly, and this is when I was pregnant with Maximus. Wow. So then when I got to 24 weeks, they were like, yeah, baby could come this week. So you have to have steroid injections. Just because my cervix literally every week it kept shortening. So I was terrified. So basically I was working from home. Yeah. And back then there was no working from home. So they had to make a special case for me. Even though it was a no-brainer, just let me work from home. Yeah, but they were they were being really dodgy. But anyway, that's another conversation. But yeah, so I was working from home. I remember I'd work from home, tapping away, and I put a table underneath my desk so that I could elevate my legs. And that's how I worked for the rest of the pregnancy, basically. So when I had the steroid injection, the week later, the doctors saw me and they were like, "Oh, Kate, you're still pregnant." And I said, "Yep, God is keeping this baby inside." Can you imagine? So they literally thought baby was coming. They were expecting because that's what they see as well. They see this happen. And with my numbers, the way it was dropping like that, but it's like God just said, it's okay. I know what it looks like, but he's in control. And then, we got to 30 weeks, and that's when they discharged me. They were like, yeah, your cervix has stabilized. It hasn't, so basically it dropped.
And it hasn't dropped
beyond that. But it didn't drop any beyond that. Yeah, it didn't drop beyond that. So they said that, we're happy. And if you go into labour now, it's fine because baby's, he's doing good. And he will survive. So I was like, wow, okay. So, yeah. Then I started kind of feeling like, okay, can I enjoy this pregnancy
A
then?
little bit, yeah.
Yeah, honestly. And then I hadn't bought nothing for baby. So I got to like 32 weeks, 35 weeks. I didn't have no clothes for baby, nothing, because I was just like, I just was terrified that what if something goes wrong. So I didn't buy nothing. So with the first two babies, I think I was about to buy stuff and then we lost baby. So this time I just said, I don't want to buy anything because I just thought it would break my heart if in case anything did happen. So, but yeah, then we started buying stuff for baby, and then I just started feeling a bit more positive. And then Maximus was born on 19th of April 2019. So God was faithful and he kept his word and he blessed me. That prayer that I prayed, he honored it,
It's incredible.
So
such an inspiring story, Katie.
Oh, thank you.
No, it's so inspirational.
And obviously I've got 2 more boys after that,
Exactly.
So it's like literally, God tripled my portion, basically. He didn't double it, he tripled it.
He tripled your portion.
From losing 2 boys to then gaining 3 boys.
It's incredible.
So honestly, God is good. So yeah.
No, it's an amazing story. It's an inspiring story, and I'm really happy you had the time to kind of share it in detail, because I think it's going to help so many people listening into the podcast.
Thank you.
Just to, like I said at the beginning, in terms of understanding the journey it's taken to get here, and understand that behind all the dancing that people see on Instagram, it's taken a lot to get to this place.
Yeah.
Your strength is remarkable, and the fact that you haven't lost that light that you have,
thank you.
in spite of all you've been through. Like, you've set me off about 10 times during this call, during this conversation.
I need to set myself up. I was just like, keep going.
But it's just inspiring, because just when you hear it, it's like, wow, you've been through so much, and just to see you sitting here in your right mind with your 3 amazing boys, and just being an incredible mother and an example to the younger women watching you, and also older women as well. It's just, you're incredible, man. So proud of you. I'm so proud of you. So I can imagine you've been through quite a journey in your lead up to motherhood, and I'm just interested to know at what point, what it was that made you come and share your story online, because I still remember that first post that you did. Yeah. At that time, hearing your story in that post, I was just like, wow, I just couldn't believe what you'd been through. Like, even though I knew, I'd heard obviously what happened, but hearing it from your point of view, not ever knowing anybody directly that had lost babies, it was just like, wow, this is somebody that I see all the time in church, and you obviously, it's not like you're faking it or anything like that, but you have to like put on your, how can I explain it? You try it, you
exactly put your positive face on,
exactly,
just keep it moving.
Yeah, that's what I'm witnessing from the outside, like seeing you keep it moving. And obviously I know, I could imagine that it was hard at the time, but I didn't have to deal with that side of you, if that makes sense. So it's like, we just saw the polished, like, the polished version at that time, but obviously in the secret place at home, you're going through it, and you just come in online and then sharing your truth in its entirety. What made you do that, and what led you to share your story in such a transparent way like that on Instagram?
Basically, it was God. Like, I didn't want to share, but for a whole year, so after I lost the first baby, I felt God saying, you need to share on social media, you need to share what you went through. And I just kept suppressing it, because I was just like, no, like, what? Like I said, I was embarrassed, I was ashamed, felt less than a woman. I was like, what are people going to think? Because no one knew that I was pregnant. Lost the second baby, and then it's like God was saying, you need to share. And the more that I suppressed that feeling, the more the feeling came. Wow. To the point where I just said, okay, I'm just going to do it. So I wrote a post. So I wrote basically an essay. But up to that point, I just used Instagram for, like, if I felt I looked cute, I'd just post a little pic. If it was Christmas, the family pic, obviously just me and Richard then by the Christmas tree. I literally used to post like 3 times a year. You was very infrequent on Instagram. Yeah. Honey. That's why every post I did see from you, I would make sure I like it, because we didn't see them very often. Babe. So, and I think I had like 400 followers at the time or something like that. So, I just used it to keep in touch with people that I'd met, like all over the world, like from like going to Tucson and like Tucson conference and stuff like that, and just keep in touch with my friends and family. But like I said, that the more I suppressed that feeling, the more it came. So I wrote my essay. I showed it to Tender, my mum, and Richard. And like Richard wasn't really on board at first, because he didn't want people like knowing my business. But I said, I was like, babe, like, honestly, God really wants me to share this. So he was like, okay, hun, like, just go for it then. So they read through it. They were like, yeah, it's good. Then I posted it. Then I turned my phone off.
No, you didn't.
I turned my phone off for like maybe like 7 hours.
No way.
Yeah, I posted in the morning, and I think I only turned it back on like 4.
Wow.
4 p.m. because I just didn't. I was thinking I was so cringing.
Yeah.
I was cringing at like what people were gonna say. So I was just like,
But
oh
you were
no.
obedient.
Yeah. And so when I turned my phone on, I was like, what?
What was the response
First
like?
of all, obviously the likes was like insane. Like for me at the time, I think it was like over 100. So I was just like, oh my gosh. And then the comments, I think I had like maybe 200 comments or something like that. And then the DMs as well.
Oh my god.
And then I remember reading through the DMs. One of them was a lady that said, "Wow, I've just gone through a miscarriage. Thank you for being obedient because this encouraged me." So I was like, "Wow, okay." And then other people, even from church as well. One of the sisters said that they went through a miscarriage before their eldest. So I didn't know
You wouldn't
that.
have known that, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. She said that if I hadn't gone through the miscarriage, I wouldn't have a baby. So they were just like be encouraged, and just women just being vulnerable to me. So I was like, oh my gosh, that's honestly how it started. You know, God told me to.
And you didn't even have an idea of what was gonna come from you sharing that post. You just shared it.
I just shared it.
And you didn't have any expectations.
No, none at all. I just thought if it can help at least one woman, then I've done what I need to do.
And then I can be at peace.
And I can be at peace. I know, finally, because I was wrestling with myself. So that's it in a long and short of it. Like,
no, it's amazing. And then from that, you've just continued to keep sharing your story and keep inspiring and encouraging others. And I think what I saw recently is that you started doing a lot of work with Tommy's. I just wanted you to touch on that a little bit and tell us about the work you do with them.
Yeah, so
and what they do.
Yeah, so obviously Tommy's is a baby loss charity, so they support women that have lost babies, but they also support women that are pregnant and that have had issues in the past, so they can connect women to professionals, doctors, consultants to get the best treatment for them. And I didn't even know that until I started working with them. So, and I believe they've got like a new tool as well to help pregnant women and to navigate their pregnancies and stuff like that. So, yeah, the work they do is amazing, and they've opened up a research centre as well. So, because I spoke at the Houses of Parliament a few months back as well for like on behalf of Tommy's, just to share my story, which was like an honour. I've been on BBC News, which Tommy's arranged for me to go on there. So I was live on BBC News just sharing my story. And I think I was on Channel 5 as well, on BBC Radio 5 Live. I've shared my stories on these platforms, and Tommy's has been a big part of that. So I've been made a Tommy's ambassador, which I was made last year. So I was like,
amazing.
I was just like, wow, like little old me. Honestly, I was just couldn't believe it. But yeah, just working with Tommy's, they've just been so supportive of my own journey. Even when being pregnant, they were just so supportive and encouraging. And obviously just what I've gone through as well in the past, they don't forget that obviously, even though I've got my rainbow babies, I did go through loss as well. So they have still kept that, like encouragement going and stuff like that. So yeah, they really champion, getting help for women that are going through loss and partners. Yeah. It's the men that go through it too.
That's amazing. So they work with the men as well.
Yeah, they do. I think they even have counselling services as well. To support couples. So
that's amazing.
Yeah, I just believe that whilst sharing my story, they just came across my post and they wanted to reshare it on their platforms, and then we've just kind of stayed in touch over the years, like over the last 3 years, and then they asked me to be an ambassador because of the work that I do, really, just to raise awareness for baby loss, because obviously, especially as a black woman, it's very much taboo in our community. As just the horrific stories that I've heard. I think remember one DM that I got from a lady who's Nigerian. She said that she just had a baby, but her family, she just lost her baby, but her family are pushing her to just move on, like forget about it and just try again. Like literally just try again. But she can't. Yeah. So she wanted to know, how did I deal with that and stuff like that. So yeah, like it's just nuts, the things that women go through, and yeah, it's just it breaks my heart.
No, it is really sad because it happens in isolation. And like you said, even from you being obedient and sharing your story, you was able to hear stories from people that you're close to that you didn't even know had gone through it. Yeah. Because it's that much of a taboo subject. Exactly. So the fact that you was obedient in doing that post and sharing your story when people are not really talking about that online is incredible.
It is. And another thing that springs to mind is that when I lost the babies, each time I lost both Jerome and Shiloh, I would go on Instagram and look at hashtags miscarriage, hashtag stillbirth, or hashtag baby loss, because I wanted to read and hear from other women going through it. And what I noticed is that it was mainly the white community that were sharing and obviously that helped me loads. I was following them, asking them questions. I would DM them. I'd be like, "This is what's happened to me. Like, can you give me any advice?" But also, obviously, you have to. It's nice when it comes from someone that looks like you as well. And obviously, I knew that in the black community it does happen, but I just didn't see other women sharing it. So I thought maybe I should do that as well.
Yeah.
So then I kept going. So obviously, God told me to do that one post, but I just thought, you know what? Let me just keep it going. So yeah, that's what we did.
That's amazing. And then you doing that now, you've been able to help so many women like all over the world. And your story has touched lives. I even had Abigail on the podcast, and she was talking about
oh my
you
gosh,
on the podcast.
yeah,
She
because I
said
did
that,
an event that for her, and then I put her through to my doctors that to help to have her baby.
Look at that.
Yeah, so she had the stitch as well with my doctor.
And she's been able to have 2 babies since.
Oh,
So
it's incredible.
Just from you
Wow.
being obedient has led to all of these impacts. And it's like at the time when you were doing it, you would never have foreseen or known that this would have been the result of it.
Never.
Obviously, this is not another money podcast, and although we do like to touch on so many different topics, that I do feel that can in some way always relate back to finances or have a effect and impact on us financially. So I'm just interested to kind of learn and understand how your losses in any way may have had an impact on you financially, or had an impact on how you manage your finances moving forward.
Okay, I think there's 2 answers to that. I guess the one is because of what I went through, God has been able to create a huge platform for me that I've been able to monetize and earn a good living from it. Like obviously it's not like amazing, but it's like, it's good. Like it's good. Like I'm grateful. Yeah. If that makes sense. So that's one side of it. And then also, to be honest, I just see like life is just so short. I literally held life and death in my hands twice. Yeah. And I saw my sons. I've given birth to them, so that's their life, but then they've also obviously passed away. So it's like life and death in my hands. So like life is that experience just changed me and changed my perspective on just everything really. That life is so short, and we don't know how long we've got on this earth. We don't know how long we've got with our loved ones. So in that sense, I'm just like, obviously it's good to save, but then don't hold on to it as well. It's a balance, isn't it? Like I don't like save to the point where I don't spend. And also obviously because I'm a mum as well, so I have to buy things for them like all the time, like the uniforms, like nursery fees, like, do you know what I mean? So basically I don't see money as like something that's static, that just stays in one place. Like it has to move, right? So you can have money, you can bless people. So I like, when I can, I like taking people out, like just blessing them. Do you know what I mean? Even if it might not even be their birthday, but it's like I just want to catch up with you. Do you know what I mean? So, I just believe that money is you get money and then you release it, and it comes back again. Yeah, do you know what I mean?
Exactly.
So, but my husband, he's more the money man. Like he's got spreadsheets from when we got married in 2012. Our whole wedding, like everything we spent on everything. Wow. He's got spreadsheets for everything, which I love. But then I'm like, babe, let me spend the money. Okay, amen.
Exactly. It's balance.
It's balance.
We bring different things to the
there
relationship.
There you go.
You bring the money out, spend it.
Do you know what I mean? So, but there's room for improvement. So I'm not perfect, but but I just see money as like it flows.
Yeah, and it does exactly. Yeah. So no, that's amazing. No, thanks for sharing.
Okay.
And I guess just before we close then, if there's anything else that you want to share with the audience, or any words of encouragement actually, or anything advice that you want to give to anybody that's going through that season that you went through now, that maybe has lost a child recently, or are still maybe wanting a child and not able to conceive just yet, any advice or words of encouragement that you would want to give to that person listening?
Definitely. I mean, it's funny in the sense that I just wanted to start with this because basically 2 days ago I went to an event with Boots, and then I got to the station near my house. Obviously I won't name the station, but I got to the station near my house, and then I was deliberating whether to get an Uber or whether I was going to call my mum to see whether she could pick me up, or Richard. So I was umming and ahhing. So in the end I just got the Uber. So I waited a bit longer. So as soon as I called the Uber, a black lady came to me, And she was this beautiful lady, like stunning, like she was just glowing, and she had like a nice smile on her face. She approached me. She was like, "Hi, I follow you on Instagram," and I was like, "Oh my gosh!" And then the next thing she said was, "I just lost a baby," and I was like, "Ugh," my heart just sank. My heart broke for her, and even I didn't know what to say. If I'm honest, I did not know what to say to her, but I gave her like several hugs. And I just encouraged her, and I said, "Was this your first?" And she said, "Yeah, it was her first." And then it just brought me back to when I obviously lost my first baby, and how broken I was, and how it's just so new, and you just feel like your world has ended. You feel like you're the only one going through it. And I remember my words to her was just like, don't give up, like don't lose hope. There is hope. And I also encouraged her. I encouraged her to get some help, like as in find out what happened to baby, what happened to you, as to why you lost the baby. So I think she lost the baby in her second trimester as well. So I think she was like 20 something weeks. I can't remember the actual date, but yeah. So that's involved. That's also important. Do your checks, investigate, especially as Black women. They can fob you off, like find out what happened. But then and then I had to get my Uber, so I didn't get to like finish, but I did. I took her number, so I'm gonna like call her and stuff. But then, basically, what I'd also want to also advise women going through baby loss is that you have to go through the process. And this is what I learned the first time I lost Jorim, the first baby. You have to go through the stages of grief, because grief comes in waves. Like even like me, 7 years on, I still have my moments. Like I think about my sons every single day. So I know this month is Baby Loss Awareness Month, but I see this month as it's not for those that have lost babies. It's actually for those who haven't experienced baby loss, as a awareness for you guys to kind of see, okay, this is what we go through, because we remember our babies. We don't need a month to tell us that it's Baby Loss Awareness Month, or it's baby. Do you know what I mean? We don't need a month to think about our babies, because we carry our dead children basically with us. So basically, you have to go through the stages of grief. And my biggest thing is, what helped me was I allowed myself to feel. Especially when I went through therapy, I realized that I can't fight against my emotions. If I feel like crying, I will cry. And in the same breath, I shouldn't feel guilty for being happy.
Yeah.
Because that's what I was in torment when I was like, I remember I was thinking, am I ever going to smile again? Am I ever going to laugh again? And then when I did have that first bouts of laughter, I was like, I felt so guilty, because I was like, my son, he can't laugh. Do you know what I mean? He's in heaven. But I had to realize I have to live for them, and I have to take them with me. And so they are much a part of my family. So my advice would be, do not lose hope. Hold on to hope. If you're a Christian, fall on your knees and get close to God, because God is really real. And if you don't believe in God, honestly, God loves you. And I just pray that his love just, wraps his arms around you. And also allow yourself to feel, go through the motions of grief. And then in doing that, you will heal, get therapy if you can, because speaking about it helps. And also acknowledge that you are a mum, because I think that's one big thing. I remember when I lost the first baby, it was around, both of my losses were around Mother's Day, yeah. So I remember I would get messages like, oh, you'll be a mum one day. And I was like, I am a mum.
Yeah.
Even though you can't see my son, I
had a baby.
I had a baby, so I am a mum. So I celebrated myself, obviously not in the the best way, but I was crying. But I see women losing babies. They don't see themselves as mums, but I'm like, no, you are a mum. You're an angel mum, but you are a mum. Just like if you had a baby at full term, they got to, I don't know, they passed away maybe like later on in life. You still see yourself as a mum, right? It's just the same thing.
Yeah, it's true.
So yeah, just basically, I just wanted to encourage you. Basically, if you're listening to this, if you lost a baby, there is hope. You are loved. You are a mum. Reach out to anyone that will listen, and yeah, just hold on to hope, really, because I just feel like hope gets you through things. If you don't have hope, then it's like, what is there to live for?
Yeah.
And there is hope in God.
No,
Okay,
amazing.
so
Oh, thank you so much, Katie.
that's
Like, you've
okay.
shared so much. I really appreciate you coming on. I love your
Aw.
authenticity and your vulnerability, and
Aw.
you just having to go back to a time in your life that was a very hard time. So the fact that you were able to go back there and take us on that journey and share your story, I really do appreciate you and thank you. And I'm sure your story is going to have such an impact on some of the listeners. So
Thank
you so much for
thank
coming on. I
you,
really appreciate you.
sis. Thank you.
Yay.
God bless
God
you.
bless you
Honestly,
too,
you're
babe.
you're amazing.
Oh, thank you.
Honestly, guys, make sure keep supporting Tolu. Like she's just like incredible. I love your work ethic.
Oh, thank
Mum
you.
of 4 boys, and you're able to have this amazing setup.
Oh, thank you.
Because your consistency on social media and YouTube, yeah,
No,
you're
thank
just
you.
goals.
Oh, please,
So
thank
well
you.
done, and thanks for having me on.
Oh,
What
no,
an
thank
honor!
you.
Wow, thank
Oh,
you.
yay.